it's the Modern Day Nana. Alright guys, book crafts. Alright, I started this one, but I'm going to show you how I did it and what I did. This one's a little rough, but basically what I did was I took a book and I just hollowed out the middle. Okay? And I kind of started messing with this one, and then I painted it. I don't know if we'll paint this one. Let's just go ahead and let me show you how we got started on this one. We're going to put some really cute things in it. I'll show you what I did. I took some of the book pages that I cut out and we made a nest. I made a nest. I'll show you how to do that, okay? So, what we have to do first is we want to get a book that we don't care about, that isn't, something precious to us. I think this was an old Reader's Digest, but it's bigger than like the normal ones. So, I don't know. But you could take a book from, from the thrift store, one you've got laying around, Dollar Tree, whatever. So, I've just got this from the Dollar Tree. I've got better ones somewhere that have like a safety and stuff on them. Like almost like a box cutter, but this is just, I'm not sure exactly what you call this. But, yeah, I got it at Dollar Tree, and it's got a sharp tip on it, and you can exchange the tips by unscrewing this. Anyway, so I got to start on this because it takes a little bit to get through it. I went ahead and measured this one. The one I showed you first, I didn't. Now this is going to depend on how much you want the inside hollowed out. I just went ahead and did an inch all the way around, okay? And just to make it nice and neat, that one could have been a little neater. So just take and use the sharp, the sharp side, and then just start working. I just made a line where my inch is all the way around and cut through this until I worked my way into getting this apart. The last side, I think, is just hanging on here by the paper on the inside. But just, I got off my line there. But just work at it, and you'll get it apart. Now, this could be a cute tiny book if you wanted something little. It could be a really big book. That first one I did was an old dictionary. So, okay, so we got this part off, and then I just left this down, and I just started cutting out, I just started cutting it out this way and cutting the pages out. Now we can save these pages because this is what I made my bird's nest out of on the other one, and we've always got lots of uses for old book pages. On Mondays we're doing the junk journals, and I don't see any end in sight for that. There's so much you can do. I've got so many that I want to get done. We just went over tonight and took my son and his fiance out for supper. She wanted to talk about some wedding stuff, and I hadn't seen him in a while, so we went over and did that, and I took them a few things, and I took that big wedding planner, or not even a planner necessarily. I've been calling it a planner, but just a place to store your stuff from your wedding in, like a keepsake. Certainly, probably will end up being more like that, because I saw the journal that I'd given her, that I thrifted tonight. She pulled it out and was using it. So anyway, that's done. She liked it, and I'm super happy that I was able to do that. So see, guys, you know, you can, if you don't want to sell your stuff, which you certainly can sell your stuff, but if you don't want to, you can give things as gifts, and they're so nice. She said, nobody's made anything like this for me since my grandma, and her grandma's passed away, so I'm super happy. Okay, so see, we just have book pages, and we'll set these all aside, and I can just, like I said, we can make it as deep as we want, but I wanted to show you guys, this is all you do. Just go in and layer by layer, you know, cut some pages out, pull them out until you get the depth that you want. Okay? And then, when we get this part done, we have a book that's ready to do whatever we want to it. Okay, so let me set this one aside. I'll use this one later on. And let's get back to the one we've already done. I honestly don't know what I was thinking when I painted this one green. I mean, it's totally fine. See? I get a little lumpy here, which I won't do that one with this one. This one got a little crumply because I was just kind of messing with it. But see how I just hollowed it out? I would say this is not even a whole inch. So depending on what you want to do with it, you know, will depend on the depth. But you don't even need a whole inch. We're going to make a little scene in here. This is just moss, okay? But let's go ahead and let me show you. I just took this book and I just got some kind of chalky paint that I mixed up myself. And you can just, let me see where that's at. You can use any acrylic paint, and you can mix that with baking soda. You can mix it with, I had a thing of grout. Oh, here it is. Have my hand right on it. But this really makes nice, smooth chalk paint. You can just take any acrylic paint, you know, paint you have laying around the house from when you painted a wall or something, as long as it's acrylic. And this calcium carbonate, you just mix it in, mix it up, until it's the thickness you like, and then paint with it. And it gives you a really nice chalk paint without really the price of, you know, having to buy bottles of chalk paint. So, or you can just buy the chalk paint, which you can get on Amazon, Walmart, you know, wherever. So, that was this. And then I finally got these brushes out. I got these brushes on Amazon. It came in like a pack of 3. They're like stencil brushes. But if you had a dauber, you know, like an ink dauber, or a piece of, honestly, just even a little piece of fabric, right? Just rip you off a little piece of the fabric and you could use that, whatever you've got. And I got this, I finally found this, but you guys, it was literally still in the plastic, but when I opened it, it was all dried out. It had never been opened, but it was that old. And I had not even opened it because I found my inks, which I have a big bag of them, like plastic Ziploc bag. So I took and just added some alcohol. I literally just poured, you know, a bottle of rubbing alcohol. I just poured it on to kind of revive the ink because, you know, the moisture of it had evaporated away. So that's what I did. So I just took this and I just did my edges. See where it's a little brown? Just a little. Now, like I said, you could use just an old paintbrush. I just happen to have these. I got to get stuff out and use it, but you could just use an old paintbrush, right? Whatever you wanted to use. Just don't put much, okay? Don't put much if you just want it to look aged, okay? So that's what I did there. It just looks kind of aged. And after I painted it with the chalk paint. So that got us to this section, okay? Then we made a bird's nest. Now here's our bird's nest. Well, let me show you how we did that. And I thought that was cute because it tied in with it being a book page, bird nest. So I'm going to put some gloves on real quick and I'm going to show you what I did. So I just took, now this is in a Mod Podge container, but it is just like Elmer's glue, Elmer's school glue. Or, you know, not even Elmer's, just like the stuff at Dollar Tree. It's just glue. So what I did was I got myself a bowl. And it's good to have this stuff in your craft room. Wax paper, plastic wrap, some foil. It's actually good just to have a thing of this in your craft room because it comes in handy for different projects, this being one of them. Okay, so we're just going to take, my poor box has about had it, we're just going to take and we're going to put a layer of saran wrap in our bowl. You know what? Let me get my smaller bowl. Here it is. And this is just like a custard size. Let's actually put our plastic wrap in our custard bowl. Okay? And we'll put our nest in here to form after we get it done. So I'm just going to take and I just shredded up some of that paper. I just basically took a scissor and cut it strips. Okay, so just cut some of the paper up in strips, and I just took. Let's take a little bit of it out and poured a little bit of glue and just messed it around. You know, just get it all incorporated, and then once it gets kind of goopy, then you can see how much you're going to need. I'd say, depending on what size nest you make, is how much paper you want to put in here. So just mix it around. This is fun. And when I did the other one, of course, I didn't have gloves on, but I thought, oh, I don't have time to go wash my hands and all this. You know, I want to make this as concise as I can for you guys, not waste your time. Our time's precious, right? But we always have time for crafting. So, yeah, I think maybe a little bit more. And, you know, we could, if we wanted to, you know what, why don't we in this one? Let's just take a little bit of this moss. This is just that random moss. Let's just take some of this moss and break it up. And let's mix it in with our paper too. Now, we could always put some in or put some on top or whatever afterward or glue it on. But, hey. As y'all know, if you watch my videos, I'm just playing. Oh, we had such a nice time. Went over and went to their house and talked about some wedding stuff, my son and his fiance, and then we went out to Bandana's barbecue. I don't know if that's just a Midwest thing, man, it smelled good in the parking lot. You know what I mean? And I love barbecue. I have always loved barbecue. Since I was a little kid, I can remember just being like, I love barbecue. So it doesn't have to be real goopy. I think the nest I made before, I had to go to work and stuff, so I let it dry at least 24 hours. And then it'll be real easy to get out of here because we've got the plastic wrap. So I'm just going to take it, pop it in here. So do this your size. Get yourself a bowl, basically, the size you want your nest. Okay? So I just popped it in here, and now I'm just going to kind of form it around the outsides of the bowl to make, to make it look like a nest. Oh, that's cute with the moss in there. That's adorable. Okay, so really, guys, that's all there is to it. Now, I did trim this one up a little bit after it dried. Well, it's not going to come off. Anyway, so see? So I just made a little divot there in the middle, like you would a nest, and we're just going to set this aside. And you'll need to give this probably 24 to 48 hours. I'm going to set it over here in the windowsill so it can get the sun. All right, so that's that. So we've seen how to do our book. Let me put the lid back on my glue here. And we can save all these extra pages because they come in handy for lots and lots and lots of projects. Okay? So I'm just going to set these aside, and we'll get our book back up here. Okay. Now, I think if you're putting it like on a shelf or something, decide which side you want out. I think I want the spine side out, and we could do some fancy stuff. I'm not going to with this one. Let's just do the basics, okay? So I just took some loose moss and just kind of laid it in here and lined it with some moss. Now I have I have several different variety packs. There's a little bit that's mixed in with some reindeer moss in there. But whatever you've got, okay? And we can fuss with it later. Let's just kind of get it in here, and we can kind of fuss with it later and maybe hang some over the sides and that kind of thing. Now, I went outside and I just picked up some sticks because I wanted a few sticks in my arrangement here. Now, see how the nest turned out? So I just took and trimmed it up a little bit when it got hard, and then I just took the distress ink and dabbed it around to give it kind of a aged look. So that's what that is. Okay, so I was thinking, if we want our nest, I feel like our nest should kind of be in a corner so that we can do something else over here on the sides. And I picked up some sticks, and then I had a little bit of willow. The willow part is fake, and the stick, it's got some awesome, good, like, mossy stuff on it itself. I don't know what you call that. It's not algae. Lichen? Yeah. think there's some lichen that's on there. I just took one of those twist ties, one of those twisty things from the Dollar Tree. You can pretty much get them, and it's just a little wire. It's like a pipe cleaner. I just stuck mine in a bag. I've got black and green in there. You're not going to see it. And then I put a little bit of glue on it too. But I was thinking this would be nice. I don't know if my glue gun's hot enough yet. I was thinking this would be nice. Now, the only thing is, if you do a lot of laying everything down flat, you got to have room for it. You know what I mean? Like if you're sitting it on a table or something. So I was thinking, here, let me zoom out a minute. I was thinking if we could kind of stand it up, right? So let me see. We might kind of have to, because I didn't get this near as good as I'm going to get this next book I do. This was kind of the first one I did, so you know, the first one's kind of like always kind of like a test run. But I was just going to try to stick this, glue this in the corner. And if I cut the book out better, I could do it more straight down, but that's all right. We can give it a little bit of a tilt. And then I was thinking we could maybe, we can always stick some moss down in here too, but I was thinking we could just kind of find the best angle that you like. And I'm going to tilt my nest. You know what? I could also put a little something behind there. I could just put some moss behind there. Let's do that. Let's stick some moss behind here and see if that'll help it stand up. And then we can also glue this. Let's put some glue on the actual nest, and then we can glue the nest to it, and that'll help it stand up too. Like I said, this is the first time I've made one of these, so you know, it's all play anyway. We're just experimenting, but I think that'll work. And then I can stuff some more moss down in there. I have got moss, you guys. Moss is not a question. Let me grab a little bit more. I have boxes of moss. I showed you in that one video where I got those things of moss and you had to put them in water and, what do you call that, reconstitute them? I don't think that's what you call it. You know, oh there, yeah, there we go. So we can just, you know, just tuck some moss in, and we'll want to do that anyway. Okay, all right. So that's good. I like that. Okay. So we've got our nest, and you know, we could cut some of these off too if we feel like it's a little too much or in the way. I don't want to cut too much off, and I don't want to make these ends like even. You know, I want it to look a little messy, which is kind of my trademark, I feel like. A little messy is a good way of putting it. So, we have some sticks and we have our bird's nest. Now, if we wanted to, let me grab a little more moss. We've got options. I have some birds, so we could put some birds in our nest. Okay. Or I've got some eggs for like this time of year, so we could put some eggs in our nest. Where's this bird at? I'm not sure where I got this one at. Just a little. He blends in nicely, or she. Probably a she. She's brown. Let's just sit her in there. Let's not stick her down or anything. And you know what we could do? We could make it interchangeable, where we could put the eggs now And then if we wanted to leave it out, we could put the bird in after it's kind of past egg season. These are ones I got at Dollar Tree. I think they were on a garland, you know, like on a string. Pretty sure they were in like the $3 section, like the 3-5, the Dollar Tree Plus section. I love these feathers on here. They're so cute. Got a couple of kind of gray ones, which match the willows, and then there's that white one. I could probably find another gray one, but hey, I like that. That's actually really pretty. So we could do the eggs, and then I just had a little bouquet of miscellaneous greenery. Not a bouquet, just a little bunch that I had sticking there of miscellaneous greenery. And I had some succulents. I think this one might have come from Hobby Lobby or somewhere like that. I know this one for sure came from the Dollar Tree. And again, what I did there was I just took an old paintbrush, dipped it in a little bit of white paint, and went like that on the ends and let it dry. And then I did the same thing with the ink, with the distress ink. But you could use just a little brown paint just to make them not look so cheapy, dare I say. So, we've got some of these. I think this one came from the Dollar Tree also. This one probably just came out of some stuff. Who knows? Okay, so we've got 3 succulents to work with. Let's see. And I don't necessarily think we're going to have to put any glue on these. I think they'll just, you know, sit in there. Let's see. Where do we want these? Well, we can play with them. Okay. Just stick them in. I could cut this off a little bit if I felt like it needed it, but I think it's all right. And then this one, this is a nice one. Now, do we want it, let's see, do we want one over here? What are you thinking about that? Oh, there. I just stuck that one down in there a little more. Yeah, I like that. Okay. All right, so we've got that going. Now, I also had, before we kind of fill it in with a little bit of greenery, I also have these mushrooms. Now, I got these mushrooms, I want to say they were probably in the fall stuff at Hobby Lobby. There were 3 of them, like on a twine string. See, they've got the little eye screws in the top, so we can just unscrew that and take it out. And I actually had different mushrooms, but I won't bore you with all that. We'll use them for something else. Well, I did have these little ones though. But let's stick a few of these in, see what we think. Okay? And now, if we need to, we can kind of set these up on something. I feel like that might be a good place for one back here in the back, where we just stuffed all of our... It's just kind of laying there, though. It's not really sitting. If we wanted it to sit up, well, we could just put some glue on it. Let's just put some glue on it and see if we can get it to sit up here behind our little branches. So it's kind of sitting up a little bit. So you can see it back there behind our nest. And now you can make this nest whatever size you want. If you want it smaller, that's up to you. Like I said, I'm just playing. Maybe the next one I will make a little smaller. Let's see. Do we feel like we need 3? I feel like, you know, the rule of, you know, 3's in here. I feel like maybe we need... This one's bugging me. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it needs to sit more straight down, and it's too... The little pick on it's too long. So let's just get our handy dandy trusty dusty there. I like it sitting flatter. Then it's going to make room for our mushrooms. Okay, and then we can see the stalk of the mushroom a little bit. Is that what it's called, a stalk? I'm not sure about that. Let's see. And you could play with this. Oh, that's so cute. You could play with this, and you could put anything in here, guys. I just gathered, you know, some of the junk I had. Let's see. Now, I also had these little white and pink. They were off of like a wreath. Pit berries, and you can get these, I know, at the Dollar Tree also. I had got this big pack, or this big thing, at Hobby Lobby. But I'm not for sure, these are smaller. I'm not for sure I want the pink in here, although we don't have any color, but we could definitely put a few of these, you know, more neutral toned ones. And if you want to make this permanent, you could definitely stick some glue on these before you stick them in there. I don't necessarily want to make these permanent, okay? And these, the nice thing about these is they're wire, so they twist, right? So just a little something. I like the pink, but I think I want to keep it completely neutral. So let's just stay with the neutral tones. And you could even make these stand up too, you know, if you wanted to. This needs a little bit of a twist to it. All right, so just a little something in there. And then, like I said, we've got more sticks. We've got more pieces of stick if we wanted to, you know, where this is at. If we wanted to incorporate that, you know, down somewhere like it was sticking out under the nest. Just play. Oh, you guys, I forgot about this. This is that stuff. Here's the bag. I got this stuff for $1 at the thrift store. I don't know. I do not know. It's a great big old bag. Uh-oh. I'm knocking stuff over. It's a great big old bag of kind of a weird foamy, but it looks really does look like twigs. Let's try to put a piece of that under our eggs and see what that looks like. Yeah, just play with stuff. Just stick it in there and see if you like it. If you don't, take it out. Right? Yeah, that's not working out that well. But we have it. If we want to stick some in, let's put our little eggies back in there. Come on, kiddos. All right, so we've just put a little of this, a little of that. We've got our succulents in. Oh, here were these mushrooms. You get these in a pack at Dollar Tree. They had different sizes. I just took and painted some of them. I just painted them like with a whitish colored chalk paint, and then again around around the sides, just to make them a little bit, you know, brown. I just dabbed this a little bit. I put some dots on the top, waited for them to dry. Now the best way I found to put dots on something like this is just take a paintbrush and use the end. Dip it in your paint. You can get about 3 dots. Okay? So I did that, let it dry, and then I just brushed over it again to make it not look so white. Okay? So we've got these little baby mushrooms too. Oh, we're definitely going to have to cut some of this wire off. So yeah, when you see things, even if it's maybe not the color at the thrift store or whatever, even if it's maybe not the color you want, and you don't mind painting, you know. Oh, these are adorable. Oh my goodness. These are so cute. Okay. I think I did 5 of these. Painted 5 of these. Oh, these are adorable. Oh, here, we need a little bit of moss stuck in here. There. Super duper cute. All right, we're clicking along. I got some of that stuff done ahead of time. All right, so now we've got our little, you know, just our kind of random pieces. Now, too, if we wanted, I've got this succulent. If we wanted, we could just clip it apart and just use pieces of that if we wanted to. I am not so sure I want to do that, so let's just see what we've got here in the greenery. I think I'm looking for something a little more spindly. You know, so don't throw, you know, when pieces come off and that kind of thing, don't throw them away. Save them. Put them in a little baggie or something, and then you'll have them when you just need a little something. And they will really add that little bit. That's just some sort of little flower that was off of something. Let's see, do we need it all? That's cute. Stick our little mushroom back in there. Okay. I don't know. I don't really think we need any of these big pieces. Let's just maybe go with some more of these small ones. Okay. Just kind of stick them down, incorporate them, put a little moss on top of them to cover up the stem if you need to. Okay. This is going to be so cute for your spring decorations. And then it can, now see, this is a whole totally different little piece, but that's okay. Then, like I said, we can move into summer if we want. There. Oh, this is adorable, you guys. I love those little baby mushrooms. I'm not thrilled about this one, but I don't really know what to do with it. I feel like we need 3, you know. I don't know, could we put it back here? No. I'm not thrilled with the placement of this one, but I'm not really sure what else to do with it, so I'm going to leave it for now. Okay. All right, how are we looking? What else have we got? Oh, whoa. I'm sure you guys, if you shop the Dollar Tree at all, you've seen all their cute little fairy stuff. This was part, we might be able to incorporate this. It's just a little, there could be fairies. I can't read all what it says, but it's just a little sign. And then here's a little fairy, and look what she's holding. She's holding a bunny. Wonder if we could fit her in somewhere. Let's see. Maybe we could fit her in the nest. Oh. Now, if we really, really wanted to, we could paint that up and, you know, do whatever. Let's see. But I think it's cute as is. Let's try to stick this down in here and see if it... I don't like that. It's like right in front of her. Maybe. Here, we can put this here instead of that. Oh, I just still feel like we need 3 mushrooms, though. Maybe we could actually glue this onto the book. You know what? I meant to put the spine on the outside, but I did it opposite. But that's fine. This is kind of cool because it has like the lines from the, because it's a dictionary. Can you see it? Down here where it's got the, where the tabs are. No, we'll leave it. Let's see. I just still feel like we need this other darn mushroom. I'm determined to get him in here somewhere. Or her. You know, it could be like this. We could just glue it onto the, let's just put a smidge of glue, since it's going to be, we're going to just sit this on top. Okay? Let me put a smidge of glue on the bottom. These, I think, are wooden. These mushrooms, I think, are wooden. We'll just actually glue it onto the book itself. Oh yeah, that looks much better. Okay. Got our little mushroomy roomies. Okay. I've got one more little guy. Uh-oh, I just pulled him off of the piece of wire. These are just foam. Now, if you wanted to, I'm not going to because I want to reuse this. Probably, should we try to put a mushroom in the actual nest? Put a mushroom by her. Maybe not. Nope. I lost my wire. Here it is. Put them down here. They're so cute. Now we can just go back around because we can just fill in and take bits and pieces of moss and fill in anywhere we think we need to. Okay, because we could just poke a little here and there. Now that stick looks really cute. Let's maybe put a little piece of moss under it. Have a little bit of moss hanging down. Put a little moss under the succulents and things. Here's a piece of that reindeer moss. We'll kind of have it. So this is definitely I feel like this is very cottagecore. It's certainly pretty neutral. Well, not pretty. There's a little bit of pink on the fairy, but beyond that, that's about it. Okay. I don't know if we could get any more on there, you guys. I think I'm going to be happy with that. Like I said, we could do a little more moss here and there, trail a little more moss off of the sides. And, you know, I had my book done, but I didn't want to belabor it with you guys and have you watching me do that. But, you know, moss just makes everything better in my opinion. So, you know, on little twigs and pieces and bits and hanging over the side. But I think the fairy's cute in there. I think that turned out really, really cute. Okay? So, as I say, you know, get your junk together. And we are going to be starting to work on... Nope, not putting that in there. Going to start working on wedding stuff. And that is going to include a whole bunch of moss. So we are going to be moss happy for the next several months. The wedding is 6 months away. She wanted to talk to me this evening. She's getting a little antsy. And you know, you think, good Lord, 6 months. No, that is not that long when you're making a bunch of stuff. Oh, I know what I was going to show you. I'm not going to do it with this one, but I think it would be really cute to do. And since I put it on here wrong, you'd have to do it on the side that the spine's on. But I had these. I've had them forever. I had these really pretty stickers. You could spell out spring. Or you could use, you know, you could use like a stamp and stamp on, you know, to stamp on spring. I want to leave it because I don't want it to say spring. Also, I was going to show you guys, where are they? You can get these, you can get a pack of these at Dollar Tree. They have got some really nice stickers. This is blue, which it doesn't really match, but all you have to do is put a dab of glue on there if you wanted. But this would be really cute. You know, like the top of your book. Well, I could go ahead and do that, and we could just put a little, I'm going to put a little glue, because these things never seem to stick for me. Maybe it's because you got to stick them to paint. Just to show you. Okay. Can you see that? So you could if you wanted to. Like I said, I put it on the wrong way, so we're going to leave it. But I am really happy with this. And I think this is going to be, would be cute on any shelf, on any table. Certainly like for you know, if you were doing a spring dinner party, Easter dinner, whatever, you know, do something like this. And yeah, it was all, you know, we foraged, we upcycled some stuff, we got some stuff from the Dollar Tree, and with just a little bit of, you know, craftiness, we made this super duper adorable little fairy in the nest with the all the spring goodies around it. Hey guys, okay, so let's go ahead and do this other book, and we'll make it a little plainer, okay? Because I feel like after I looked at that book we did, we painted it green, we did all that, I filled it up with stuff. It was pretty, it was a lot of stuff. So let's try to make one that is a little less busy. Let me see if I can get you up a little bit closer. There we go. Okay. All right. So I've got my old Lazy Susan. I told you guys to look for these when you go to the thrift store. They're great to have, you know, and then doesn't matter. You can just paint on them or whatever. Okay, this book is a little neater than the first one I did. And all I did was just used X-Acto knife. I think that's probably what it is. That I got at Dollar Tree. You can get nice ones that have like you know, you pull it back and it hides the blade like a box cutter. But it needs to be sharp and it needs to be able to get into small spaces. See, like the corners? That looks much nicer than the one I did previously. So, you know, part of it's practice, part of it's just getting in there and doing it. Let's see. Okay. So, alright, so I was thinking, let's try to be a little more low-key with this one than we are the other one. First of all, I'm not going to paint this one, and I'm going to make sure that I put the part I want, like, out, you know, if it's sitting on a shelf, that you're seeing correctly, because, yeah, I did the other one backward. It's fine. Okay, so, we got our book. We just took and did the cover, went in, I saved the pages, okay, we can use those pages for plenty of things. We do the junk journaling on Monday, so, you know, book pages always come in handy for that. Alright, let's see, I was thinking, we did just like the green moss in the other one. I was thinking, why don't we try, this has a little green moss mixed in with it, but why don't we try a little bit of just the Spanish moss. I just have wads of it. I have a bag somewhere too, but this came out of something. And we're going to put a few things in here, but I thought it would be nice if we could do some things. I'm not going to glue stuff down because it'd be nice to interchange it like once spring is over. So I'm just going to put a nice little layer of moss down. You could use any moss you had. I had gotten this little guy at, I think Dollar General on one of those deals where it was, you know, 90% or something off. But anything you've got that's springy would be nice. I just put a pink bow on them. And this was a gray, kind of a weird gray, so I just took some brown paint, watered down some brown paint, and just kind of brushed it on here. Then I took a wet wipe and kind of dabbed it, you know, just so it wasn't, you could still see the gray, but it just wasn't so pronounced. I don't know, I just didn't like it. So, let's just stick our bunny in here and see what we have to work with. And I think bunnies really represent certainly spring. And like I said, we can do something with it later on. Okay, I had made this egg. I've had it a while. And it was just a napkin. But look how cute. It's got the bird and it's perfectly positioned. So I was thinking... I went to find a little nest, and I had a few just little nests, so I think I'm going to stick that in there. This is wood, and I got these in like a bag of craft stuff. I got this one, another one we're going to do in the next video. We're going to do something with it. We're going to cover it with moss. Imagine that. I think I'm just going to like do a moss video of doing a few different things, covering them in moss. So anyway, so we got our egg. And you can get, you know, little nests, certainly at the craft stores. I have no idea. I probably just, you know, this could have been on something, whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't want it to stick really far up, though, so I'm going to kind of spread that Spanish moss out and kind of get it nicely on the bottom. And then the Spanish moss kind of comes up the side too. And I'm just thinking, we can just put our egg in here. And we can just sit our egg in here. And I think this will make a really cute Eastery little vignette. So then I had more of those little succulents. This is a nice one. You know, who knows where I got it. I think I'm going to just stick it right here in the middle. I'm trying. Okay, guys, I'm trying. I'm trying not to get crazy with this. It's hard for me. It really is, because I just want to load it up. Oh, I found that bag of moss too, and I think this is Walmart, but you could get it plenty of places. Okay, so if you wanted a variety of mosses, you could get that. It's got like about 5 or 6 different kinds of moss in it, which would be super cute in, you know, something. Let's see here. Okay, I've just got some miscellaneous greenery. This came off of, I want to say it was a Dollar Tree thing. Just look, guys, because sometimes you can find you know, some decent greenery there. I've certainly got lots of decent greenery there. We're just gonna kind of start sticking in, not being crazy, but we want, you know, we want a little something. And if it seems like a little too much, you know, we could just pull a piece off, right? If it feels like it's that's too much, and you know, just play with it. Just use your own judgment. Play with it. Put it where you want it. You can always pull it out. Here's more. I think I'll just pull some pieces off and just kind of stick them around. So it does have, you know, different greenery. Kind of trying to mimic like the forest floor. Oh, that's sweet. And it's nice how it kind of hangs over a little bit. How it hangs over the book a little bit. I don't know, that just kind of brings it all together. Now I have these flowers. I think I got them at Dollar Tree last year. And they're just nice little spring flowers. I've used them in another project, so I just kind of keep using them. I think to tie in the pink in the egg, I think I'm just going to stick some in. Now, I'm not gluing any of this down, okay? So I'm going to pull off this greenery, I think, though. I already stuck greenery back there. Or maybe, no, I like that greenery. I'm just going to pull this off. And if you can't, you know, use your scissors. And we'll just pop this in under our nest. Okay. That's cute. The little bow needs to stick down. Now, the only other thing, I've got a few of those little succulents that I cut off of the that one big one I had. If we feel like we need to fill in it all, we could stick these somewhere. Just kind of pop them in. There we go. Okay. And then I have got, I think I got these at Hobby Lobby, maybe last spring. But I thought maybe a few of these popped in might work. So I just cut some right off of the thing. And I'm just going to kind of pop some of these in too. Okay. Just a little something. Maybe something here between here and the egg. But this will make a really cute little, again, something to sit on a table, your desk, shelf, right? Let's see, let's put our little, I lost one of my little pink flowers here. There we go. Let's see, what did we do with our, oh, here they are. Here's our little pieces of, okay. Well, that's really cute. Could kind of stuff a little moss around. I've just got little bits and pieces of this green moss too laying around. So we can just kind of fill in. Maybe maybe a little bit of the green moss kind of trail over the top of the book. Put a little over the tops of things. But I'm really trying not to overdo it, guys. There, let's just kind of cover that in a little bit. Put a little here under the flowers. Okay. All right, I'm going to call it. And you can tilt your egg, or again, if you don't have any of this stuff, I'm just giving you ideas, okay? So this would make an adorable little vignette wherever you wanted to put it. Super duper 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 cute. Okay, now, oh shoot, I was gonna do this real quick. I had gotten these mushrooms at Dollar General, and they were in the spring stuff, but they were pink and green. I still have a few that I haven't painted, but they didn't really work with what I was doing, although they might have worked with that. So I just went ahead and kind of went over them and painted them a little bit. I painted this brown, the top brown, and I put some dots on here, and like I showed you guys, I just used the tip of a paintbrush, dipped it in my paint, and put it on. I'll probably go back over that with a little bit of something to soften it up, but let me just show you real quick. Okay, so say spring is over, and you don't want to get rid of your pretty book just quite yet. So let's say we wanted to just pull our egg out. Now we could, I don't know, nests kind of remind me of spring. What if we just popped in this cute little mushroom, and we could change the flowers out. We could actually take the flowers out, and we could also take the bow off of the bunny if we didn't want the pink bow, and just really, by doing really minute things, we could go into summer. And see, you don't have to be making, a bunch of projects. We're all busy. You can take something you've already done, and you could use this. You could use this for all holidays if you didn't glue the stuff down. You could do scenes in this for everything. But I love these. I think this is so cute. I'm trying to get ideas for the wedding that's coming up in September. So, yeah. So that is that. I just wanted to show you guys some different options. And, yeah, the sky's the limit, Here, this little guy, I think, he set out all last summer. He looks a little scroungy, but at the same time, he looks cute. Look at him! See, you just popped him in there. That's about right. The mushroom's bigger than him. That's cute. Very whimsical. Very whimsical and easy and fun. So I just made a little pile of kind of like my miniatures over here at the side, and started playing with it. So, all right, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Like I said, the next one is going to be moss, moss, moss. We're going to be covering stuff in moss. So, okay, I'll see you then. Come back on Monday for the junk journal stuff. I'm doing some personal stuff in my vision board junk journal for the next couple of weeks because I finished up, the woodland one and gave it to my to-be daughter-in-law. So she really liked it. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. It's the Modern Day Nana. Bye!